Hi.
Hi.
Elena's here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Tell them your last name really quick because they're never gonna guess it by looking at this.
No, by this, it's Alana Gonzalez.
She imported it.
Yes. Everybody does think, like, if I call someone on the phone and I say it's Alana Gonzalez, I instantly get like Hispanic street cred.
Oh, yeah.
So like if I'm calling a Mexican restaurant or like anything like that, I instantly get street cred. Not if they see me in the face, but.
Do people like try to like speak to you in Spanish when you tell them that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they do?
All the time. I would even get, for months, I was getting like targeted. It's weird to say targeted, but like specific ads and mailers like sent to my house. Like, you know, you flip through and it's like, oh, we have a sale on socks or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That were addressed to Alana Gonzalez and that were entirely in Spanish.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yep.
the Postal Service got involved in that too. That's
yep. Like I ended up on their marketing list as like a Hispanic influencer, and I just got all their stuff. So.
Did you take it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't need any, you know, lawn equipment or a bike or anything at the time, so the coupons didn't help me. But I still have one of the books. It was like a 6-page, like entirely folded out advertising thing.
Well, they really hooked you up.
They did. They really, really did. So if anybody needs a bike from 2015, I can get you a deal.
That's crazy. How'd you get into comedy?
Let's see. I've been a comedy fan for a really long time. Like just ever since I was like 5 or 6. Like just.
Oh wow, you really started young. Okay.
I can remember the first comedy special I remember watching was Gallagher. Have you ever seen Gallagher?
I've never heard of Gallagher.
Okay. So, because that's the other side of this, is that I am 100.
That's not enough to show.
But
you look like you're 23.
Aw, I appreciate the lies.
Well, I look like I'm 23, don't I?
Yeah, you are.
Because I am.
Yeah.
I am 23.
Because you are. Yeah.
That was just self gratification. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be 40 next year. 40. 40.
Okay, well,
40.
brown people don't age.
That's so
true. You're probably gonna be fine. Even though it's imperative.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to suck from the marriage is the brownness. No, Gallagher was this guy in the like, I think he came up in the late 70s, early 80s, and his big thing, like his big shtick at the end of every show was called the Sledge-O-Matic. And it was like the Sledge-O-Matic.
Okay.
And it was a take on like infomercials sort of that would try to sell you like cooking equipment. And so his thing was a sledgehammer that would purify, you know, it's not a slicer, it's not a dicer, it's not a chopper and a hopper, it's Sledge-O-Matic. And he would bust out this sledgehammer and just smash watermelons, smash fruit. On stage? Yeah. And,
Alright, that's what's up.
But it's like the first half of his show was all like really like fun wordplay and like good joke writing, and
then he brought out the sledgehammer.
And then he brought out the sledgehammer. And people would get like super into it. Like they would go to these theater shows and like bring raincoats and like big tarps to like pull up over their face, because watermelon was going everywhere. So yeah, he had a ton of HBO specials in the 80s, and I remember watching those with my dad.
When you were 5? Mm-hmm. Did you like understand all of it when you were 5?
No, but like he did one thing where, you know, it was kind of like a play on words, like, you know, why do we drive on the parkway and park in the driveway, and about how words are spelled and
oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, like,
that's a good point.
But it's true. Like tomb doesn't rhyme with comb, but it's spelled the same, like T-O-M-B tomb. And then he's like C-O-M-B coom. No, C-O-M-B comb. Yeah, like if you I feel like, I mean, it's kind of, it's definitely dated, and it's like nostalgic for me, but I totally think you should go back and watch
Well,
this
now I'm
stuff.
not gonna be able to sleep because that's gonna be in my mind.
Yes.
Tomb and Comb.
Yes, and Bomb, and then you throw Bomb in there, and Bomb's not like Tomb,
It's just
and it's
OMB
not like
that makes no sense to anyone.
yeah. So
I can't say Bomb because of
that's true.
the cameras will turn on. They'll have like a red dot pointed.
I shouldn't have brought that up. We are in public. But yeah, go back. You should look up old Gallagher stuff. But like his whole set was like this huge couch, and he would like ride around on a motorized bike
On stage?
Yeah. So it's like the set production was huge. So like that's what I connected with when I was a little kid. But no, like my dad was always really big into comedy, so it was like always around. Like it was just kind of a natural thing to get into, and then that stuck with me throughout the years. And then I had a baby, and a friend of mine started doing it, and she was like, "No, you have to do this." And I was like, "I'm kind of busy." Like,
It's usually your friends who will get you involved the first time. It's like, you should try it. No, well, just try it.
and so she did it for a little while, and then she's like, "No, bitch, you have to do this." And I was like, "Okay," but
How was it the first time on stage?
oh my gosh, it was exhilarating.
Yeah.
And so addicting. Like
It's a whole different high that you get when you're. It's such a weird concept too. Like when you're up there, it's like I have a microphone. Everyone listen to me.
yes.
It's the weirdest
really
art form I could
is.
possibly think of because it makes no sense to anyone who's like, if you're just like a bystander, like if you didn't know what it was and you just like watched it from a distance, you'd be like, what the hell is going on and why are they doing this?
And it really is, because like I started in radio, and I love talking and all that stuff, but it's an entirely different thing when people are watching you. Like when they're not just listening to you, and they're like watching.
The video aspect is different than like audio.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's real time.
Yeah, I say video as in like seeing someone in person, not like actually just watching a screen. Like it's a whole different thing being live and then watching it at home on YouTube. Like go watch live comedy. It's actually a whole different experience, and you will really enjoy it.
And from the performer side, like you can see when that guy's in the back going like, you know, make me laugh, bitch. And you're like, okay, I'm trying, I'm sorry. And
I was talking to like Ashley Stoneman about it.
Oh yeah.
And then she's pretty much like what you just said. She'll be just up there on stage, and the people in the audience are like, dance, clown, dance.
Exactly.
It's like, all right.
But then you get that, like, once you get that first hearty, like, belly laugh, oh man, that's great. Like, as soon as you get that loud, you can ride the rest of it.
I would do that right now, but we are in a public space. I'm probably gonna like kick us out. But it's I don't know how. But was it good like the first time you performed, or was it like really bad?
It wasn't bad.
Where did you perform?
The first time I got up on a public stage was at a place in Ann Arbor called the Heidelberg. And it was a show that at the time, Tony Klee, do you know him?
I don't know anybody, like, because, well, there have been enough people like on this like podcast that ask me, it's like, do you know so and so? Like, I don't know anyone. Okay. I only know like maybe 2 people, and they're the ones who are like, go to this show, meet people, go to that show, meet people. That's how I met you, but I met you like because I've seen you like a few times. So I don't like if they're not in like a 5-minute drive from where my house is, I don't know anybody.
Okay, fair enough. So he ran this show called Something to Do Comedy Night, and it was in Ann Arbor, and it was at a place called the Club Above inside a restaurant called the Heidelberg.
Okay.
And it was a really great, fun show. He would get like really long lineups, and he would do it later so it could be like not only for college students but for like service industry people.
It's in Ann Arbor, so
it's in Ann Arbor, and it's funny because I have the recording of it, and I went back and listened to it not too long ago. Have you had Christian Royce on your show yet? Okay, so if you are watching this, look up Christian Royce. He's hilarious. But I didn't know anybody like at all in the scene or whatever. And Christian got up and did a very hilarious bit about can we swear?
Yeah, go for it.
About he likes to fuck older ladies because they
likes to fuck older ladies.
Yes, because they have snacks. Like that was the premise, was because they have snacks. And it was, oh god, it's one of my favorite bits that he does. But so then I come up, like I'm up after him, and I was like, oh, well this is gonna be perfect because I'm an older lady and I have snacks. So my opening thing was all about how I was fucking Christian and all this stuff. But I didn't know him, so it was just fun. And now I know Christian, and so to go back and listen to it, it's like, oh no, you're like a little,
because it's, well, when you like, so when comics meet each other, it's a very different, I hope the microphone can pick up what we're saying, because I don't know how softly we're speaking. It's kind of, now I'm wondering, but I do know like when comics like meet each other, it's a different, because it's like, oh, you're weird like I'm weird. Because no normal human being is gonna subject themselves to getting on stage and hoping that what they're gonna talk about is good. Like
that is so true.
There's no way to practice like comedy other than just getting on stage and doing it. Like music is easy when it comes to practice. You can practice at home by yourself. You don't need to have like an audience to practice music. You need to have an audience to practice comedy.
Yes,
which sucks because that's when stuff goes like really good or really bad. You never gonna know until you get embarrassed.
Right. I mean, because you can practice like your words, or you know, like, oh, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move my hand like this, or I'm gonna stand over here, or whatever. But you don't know if any of that's gonna work.
I know.
It's like practicing in your basement doesn't.
I had a podcast like with someone who's a musician, and they're like, because, like they can just be like on their computer like making stuff, and they can play for like just themselves.
Right.
They're like, oh, this is really good, and like usually it's pretty much the premise in which they think it's really good because they're just in the music industry.
Right.
Even like really good comedians have shit jokes.
Yes. It's
like
true.
they will continuously fail all the. I mean, I'm not saying like musicians don't fail, but I think the rate of failure is different now. Because like once because like I mean, I don't want to ruin Ariana Grande for people because I like her, but like there's someone on Reddit who I wish I could quote them. Sorry, I put it in the comments like or the description. There's a guy on Reddit who actually analyzed all of her songs. They're pretty much all the exact same. Right, and her earlier music was like very, very different.
Okay.
So she pretty much tried a bunch of different things until she found like one type of like song that worked, and now like
she's just recreating
it's just the same song over and over again, like the same like rhythm, same beat. Like he just overlaid a bunch of her songs, so you can hear like every one of her songs from a new album all at once. It's almost identical.
Wow.
Like when the chorus is in the song, when the beat's playing, like when she's like when she's actually like singing a verse, it's all timed exactly the same way.
Wow, that's
the difference with music, but it's like you can't do that in comedy because people will know. Like if the audience hears like your setup every single time, they'll catch on to it. Like they'll expect a punchline,
right? Which
is when it's not as funny because it's funnier like when you don't see it coming.
Yeah, the twist, the twist. Who's your favorite comedian?
I mean, myself.
Well, of course.
But besides me, my favorite comedian is Chris Rock.
Okay.
And then, like, if I had to pick, I'm gonna go top 3 comedians. It's hard for me to pick one.
Yes, but, it is very hard to pick one.
Chris Rock is my favorite comedian, probably just of all time.
Okay.
And then number 2 would be Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And then the third one is gonna be a toss-up between like Russell Peters and Eddie Murphy.
Okay. All right.
How about you?
I like that you gave Russell a nod. Like that's
yeah. Well, I didn't know how to pick. Well, because Eddie Murphy was way before my time.
Yeah.
But like he opened the door for everyone else on that list.
Oh my god.
So that's why I was like, I don't know who to. Because the first comedy show that I watched that I can remember was like I watched like a Bill Cosby one, but I thought it was very okay, and because I just didn't get some of the jokes, and then I was in like 5th grade, I remember, and then like one of my friend's older brothers, they were playing Eddie Murphy Raw, and then I was like, what in the hell is this? And I was like, it's really funny, but should I be laughing at this stuff? It's pretty harsh.
Right.
But I'm laughing at it.
Were you just listening or were you watching?
We were watching.
Okay.
So I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And that's when like I started researching more and doing all this stuff, and I was like, oh, he was like the first dude after Richard Pryor to be like, yo, like, this is like a real, like I think he was the one that really just opened the gates for like Saturday Night Live and Comedy Central and all that stuff. So I was like, holy crap, he did a lot.
Yeah, and everybody you mentioned is such big performers.
Yeah.
Like that's an interesting through line because they're all, I think it was, I heard somebody do an interview not too long ago and they were talking about Eddie Murphy's logic was keep moving on stage because like we were talking about punchlines, like people, it's funnier when they don't see it coming. He believed that it was funnier when you didn't know where he was gonna be. He's like, if I just get up there and I stand behind the microphone, people are gonna stop looking at me because they know what to expect. He's like, but if I just keep moving, they never know what's coming. And I'm like, that's fascinating to me.
Can they apply that in like college lectures?
Probably.
I fall asleep just about. So I've never been able to stay awake throughout high school, throughout college. Like I graduated now with like a degree in engineering. I've never stayed awake in a full lecture. I can't do it. I was like, this is just the most boring thing of all time. I want to hurt myself. Like I can't sit here. It's not possible. And I'm just like, and that's one of the big reasons. I was like, you're just. I've had people like professors. Well, they'll walk in the door and they'll have their back to the like us, the students, and they'll just write the whole time. They'll never once face us. Or it's like I'll have people who like they'll get on like a little podium or something and they'll just talk and they'll never move. Like they're just their like mouth is moving up and down. I'm like, do you care? Like what's going? Yeah, I was like, I've just tuned you out completely. Okay, sorry, I don't know why I ran.
No.
That was the one thing I can.
So college professors that are watching this, take
make your
notes.
shit interesting. Like
Just
we know you
walk
don't want to be there, but goddamn, we don't want to be there either. But shit.
Make it interesting.
Who's your favorite like comedian? Top 3 favorite comedians.
We'll say Mitch Hedberg is definitely on the list.
The Whites.
Yes. You got the Browns, and now I want to be the Whites. No, but Mitch is great because.
Oh yeah, he's
like
funny.
I love him because if I'm watching him, I laugh. If I'm listening to him, I laugh. Even if I'm just fucking reading it, I laugh. Like every single time, and it's so. I love that like he was so basic with his jokes, but they were so great.
He has a really good bit about like I watched him before he got like famous. I watched a clip from him like trying out for like Comedy Central, and yeah, like the jokes are so simple.
Yes.
Like it's like, how did I not think of that sort of thing? And because one of them was like, it's like I saw an escalator that was temporarily out of order. He's like, isn't that just stairs?
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, yes, it is. It's like, wait, that's a good point.
The rest of my life now, if I see escalator down, that's the first thing that pops in my head.
Immediately.
Every time I eat
like,
rice.
how can it be out of order?
Yes.
Stairs.
It's like rice is great if you want to eat 2,000 of something. And it's like every time I eat rice, like that's what I think of. Like, oh yeah, I'm eating. I don't remember if it's 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000, but whatever, the point's the same.
Well, if it's me and if it's other Asians like I am, it's gonna be 5,000. I promise you that. That's a staple of our diet.
And then like now I love I'm gonna put them in the same category because I can't decide between Bill Burr and Jim Jeffries, but like
Bill Burr,
the angry white mailer.
That's a personality, yeah. Like that whole thing emerged and it's doing really well. And people like, I like it. I like Bill Burr.
If you've never heard of Bill Burr, shame on you, and why the fuck are you watching this? But
do you have any female comics? I have one, but she's not on screen. She's a director and producer now, Tina Fey.
Oh, okay.
Like you don't see her because she's producing and directing. She's not acting. I actually met her before. That was really cool.
Comedy-wise, I would say there's so many, but like Tig Notaro for now.
Who?
Like, really?
What's Tig Notaro? Is that a thing? I don't know what that is. Is that a person?
Wow. Oh, you have so much to learn, and I'm so excited to teach you. Yes.
I don't know anybody.
Okay, You have Netflix though, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just search TIG.
I'm not a barbarian.
TIG.
Okay.
And just do that. I won't even tell you anymore, but just do that. Watch everything that comes up, and then we'll discuss.
Okay. That'll be the follow-up.
Do the same thing, people at home. Tig Notaro is hilarious. Amazing. She's very dry, but very quick and super funny. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Tig Notaro.
Tig Notaro. And then going back, there were a ton of women in the 80s and early 90s that just kind of like fell off the map, but you should definitely look them up, like Judy Gold and Rita Rudner.
Heard of her.
And
how have I heard of her, but not some of the recent people?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind. I don't know.
Wendy Liebman. Wendy Liebman is the best at the left turn. So it's like, you'll see the joke coming and you're like, I know what this punchline is gonna be. I know.
It's something completely different.
Yes.
Those are really good comics.
She's beautiful.
That's our time.
Oh,
that's it.
Snap.
Pass
All
by
right.
FS.
Fine.
I mean, let them know if you want to like perform anywhere, any shows you got coming up.
Yeah. Gosh.
That's how quickly it passes.
Yes. Time does fly.
Unlock your phone. So she can't unlock her phone with her finger because we've had a situation.
We've had a situation. Finger cancer, don't get it, kids. That's my PSA.
No, it's not funny, but it made me laugh. It's a very messed up. And the first thing that like the first thing she told me that was like, yeah, it's cancer, and I was like, can I roast you? and I said that the nicest way possible. I didn't mean it like I hate you. I meant it like, oh my gosh, like I know how your mind works.
Yes.
I guess like the first thing you thought of was like, how can I make fun of people who have cancer now? Because I'm one of them.
Exactly. I've earned the badge.
That's so horrible to think about, but it's so true.
It's so true. Okay. January 24th, Eastsiders, Polski in Sterling Heights. Check it out. January 26th. Wait, what's the other? It's Eastsiders of Detroit, I should say, because this is everywhere in the world.
The safe part, the east side of Detroit.
Yes. Then west side of the state of Michigan in the lovely town of Charlotte.
Been there before?
January 26th. And then February 17th for you Ohioans.
Holy crap, you actually, like, you're doing stuff.
Yeah, I will be in Akron at
LeBron, Ohio.
Yes, I will be in LeBron, Ohio.
That's where you'll be.
I've forgotten the bar, but it's
but
right.
LeBron, Ohio.
LeBron, Ohio.
Yeah, everyone knows this.
Listen for the laughter, and you'll find me.
All right, well that's it. Thank you. All right, stay fresh, stay golden.